If you keep hearing gobbles in the morning, but you are never sealing the deal, you are not just having bad luck, you are actively educating your turkeys. Every mistake that you make in the woods today leads to them being harder to hunt tomorrow. Turkeys learn incredibly fast. When you bump them or you call to them poorly, they memorize the danger. So today we're gonna break down exactly how you are teaching turkeys to avoid you and what you must do and what you must change right now for success. Welcome to Revive Outdoors Academy. We teach adults how to hunt while making a lasting impact. In today's episode, we are going to teach you the mistakes that you may unknowingly be making to miss your opportunities and how you are educating your flocks when you don't mean to. We're going to cover biology, bad habits, tactical changes needed to tag gobblers consistently. Let's begin. You're not just losing turkeys, you're educating them. What does educating a turkey actually mean? Let's talk about the problem so we can fix it. When we say a hunter is educating a turkey, we are talking about a very specific biological process. We're talking about conditioning birds through pressure. A wild turkey does not reason like a human. They don't sit at a tree branch and think through complex problems. However, they possess an incredible survival instinct. Their entire existence revolves around recognizing patterns of danger and avoiding them. When you introduce pressure into their environment, you are giving them data. If that data points to you as the human danger, they are going to store that in their little bitty brains. The most common way that hunters do this is through repeated calling with zero success. Imagine this scenario. A hunter walks to the edge of a field, pulls out that slate call, and gobbler answers from the ridge. They think it's on. The hunter keeps calling, hoping the bird's just gonna run down the little hill with his little fat feathers, and he's gonna come right to him. The bird doesn't come. Eventually, the hunter gets bored. He stands up. He walks away. To the hunter, nothing bad's happened. Maybe you've experienced this. It was just a bird that didn't want to play the game that day. But to the turkey, a massive lesson was just learned. He heard a very specific hen sound. He stayed in his safe zone and waited for that hen to show up to him. And instead of ever seeing that hen, he heard these heavy footsteps of a human crunching through the leaves, or he saw this large outline of a hunter walking with his turkey vest with 42 calls in it out through the field. That gobbler just linked that sound of that specific slate call to the visual threat of you as a hunter, as a human. You just educated him. Movement and visual exposure are the greatest teachers in the wild. Turkeys rely heavily on their eyesight to stay alive. They process visual information much faster than we do. When a turkey approaches your setup, they are scanning for any shape or movement that seems unnatural. If you shift your gun barrel, you scratch your nose, you swat at a bug, you turn your head too quickly, they see it instantly. They might not know exactly what you are, but they just know you're a predator and they need to get the heck out of there. Every time you let a bird see you, you are giving them a negative encounter. So bad setups are going to create negative encounters on a massive scale. If you set up in wide open timber where a bird can see you from 100 yards away, you try to call to him, he sees your location, but he doesn't see that hen. Next thing you know, he spots your outline. He is going to drop out a strut, sound the alarm putt, run away. He's going to get out of there. So the next time he hears you, he hears that call coming from that general area, he's going to remember that danger and he is not going to come. Educating a bird simply means you are training them to associate your hunting tactics with a threat to their life. The next major mistake is calling without being in a shooting position. This happens all the times. A hunter gets out of the truck, closes the door, takes 5 steps on the trail and immediately, or he goes, just to see if something's going to answer. Well, what happens if a gobbler does answer? Less than 50 to 100 yards away. Panic sets in, their gun's still in the truck, it doesn't have one loaded, they go out ready to shoot and they click. The hunter's scrambling all over the place. The turkey's already looking in their direction, they're making all this commotion. The turkey sees that movement of the human trying to sit down, of you trying to get situated. The hunt is over before it really even starts. You should never make a sound that a turkey cares about unless you're completely ready to seal the deal. Getting too aggressive. Patience is a difficult skill to master. Hunters want action immediately. If a bird is gobbling on a roost before daylight, the natural instinct is to sneak as close to that tree as physically possible. This, if you do not know the woods like the back of your hand, can be a massive gamble. Turkeys have an imaginary safety bubble around their roost tree. If you try to push inside that bubble while it's still dark, you're snapping dead branches or you're kicking a rock or something else is going on, the woods are dead quiet early in the morning. They're gonna hear that. It's almost like a gunshot to them going off. If you push too close and you make noise, the bird will not fly down to you. He will wait for the sun up, he'll look down, he'll see you sitting there, and he'll fly off the backside of the ridge down into a bottom. You've got too aggressive, you've invaded his bedroom, and you've taught him that predators try to sneak up to him in the dark. The next morning, guess what? He'll be there, but he'll be completely silent. Repeating the same approach. Humans, we are all creatures of habit. We like routine. In turkey hunting, routine destroys your chances. I would even say the same in really all hunting. A hunter will often park their truck in the same exact place, go up the gravel road, pull off at the same exact time every single morning. They walk down the exact same four-wheeler trail or drive down the same trail. They sit by the same tree. They use the same exact mouth call. Turkeys are masters of pattern recognition because that's how they survive. They live in those woods 24/7. You imagine before season, they haven't heard anything, and next thing you know, season's coming up or it's here, and they know when things change. If they hear that truck door slam at 5:30 in the morning, followed by those heavy footsteps walking down the path, they hear the loud, crazy yelping from the tree that they've never heard before. They put these pieces together, sometimes season over season, and you are no longer hunting them. They are just simply patterning you the same way I teach with deer. They will completely change their travel routes to avoid that side of the property. They will go strut somewhere else. They will establish new breeding zones. If you do the same thing every single day, you are basically handing the flock an exact schedule of your movements, and they will use it to stay away from you. And what this is really going to lead to is when you consistently make these mistakes, the behavior of the flock is going to change dramatically. So you're going to create deeply educated birds. This is going to lead to your frustration. So you have to recognize these signs in the woods to know when you are dealing with pressured birds. Less gobbling. The first and most obvious sign of an educated turkey flock is a massive reduction in gobbling. Gobbling is how a male turkey communicates, but he is also at a huge risk every time he gobbles. He's telling every single predator in that area where he is at. In a natural environment with low pressure, the reward of attracting a hen is going to outweigh the risk of the predator. But when you educate a bird by bumping him, overcalling, or letting him see you move, the math changes in his brain. The risk of gobbling now does not outweigh that reward. He figures out that making the noise brings human hunters in. So what's he going to do? He's going to stop talking. You ever heard of tight-lipped turkeys? Well, it might be because you've overpressured him. He does not stop his breeding. He doesn't leave the property. He simply learns how to survive in silence. If you are hunting a property that was loud on opening day, but it's completely dead quiet a week later, the birds didn't just disappear. They just got educated. They're still there. They are just refusing to play the vocalization game. Hang-ups. The second symptom of an educated bird is the classic hang-up. You hear a bird gobbling, you set up and you call, he answers and he starts slowly closing the distance. He sounds maybe 100 yards away. Then he sounds even more aggressive at 80 yards. And then he just stops at 60 yards, just maybe right over that roll. He struts, you hear the drumming, he gobbles, but he refuses to take one more step. This is the direct result of poor setups from the past. A bird hangs up because he has been trained to demand visual confirmation. In the past, he walked blindly towards a sound, or he watched his buddy do this, and he almost got killed, or his buddy got killed. So now he draws that hard line in the dirt. He walks to a spot where he can see everything around him, the exact location where the sound is coming from. If he can't see that hen, he refuses to close that final distance. He is daring the hen to come to him. So hunters get incredibly frustrated, I do myself, by birds that hang up. But the turkey is doing what you have taught him to do. He is staying safe. He knows that closing that final 60 yards without seeing the hen that he is looking for is a fatal error. Pitching away. If you are pushing too tight to the roost in the dark, you will experience the frustration of birds pitching away from you. You sneak in before daylight, you get within 70 yards of the tree where the flock is sleeping, you feel great about the setup, the sun starts to rise, the birds start to wake up, the owls start to hoot, you make a very soft tree yelp, the gobbler maybe sounds off, maybe doesn't, maybe he sits there in complete silence. When it's time to fly down, instead of flying right to in front of you, he takes the entire flock and launches out of the tree and flies 200 yards down in the opposite direction or into another bottom. They did this because they know you were there. You either made too much noise walking in, they can see you down in the tree, they can see that there's nothing, there's no decoys or anything out that looks realistic. So what do? Instead of flying away in the dark, they wait till it's sun up, they can see a lot better. They're going to pitch off that roost and they are going to land nice and smooth and at a safe distance away from you. You have educated them on how close humans try to get to their bedroom, how to fix it. The good news is that you can adjust your tactics. You can unteach these bad habits by completely changing the way you operate in the woods. If you want to stop educating the birds and start putting tags on them, you must implement these structural fixes immediately. The big thing is, I hear over time and time again, oh, the bobcats, the coyotes. It's never me. So let's take a look at us. Avoid over pressuring birds. You have to give your property rest. If you have a specific bird you've located and you've hunted him hard for 2 days, you have to back off. I have a bird I'm specifically hunting right now. I gave it an entire week and a half before I went back after him. Got run under his tree. He gobbled probably 100 times before he flew down away from me. So this is a lesson that I have learned and I'm sharing with you. You have to get that specific area of 3, 4, 2-week break. Whatever you can do at the last little bit of seasons left, give it a break and then come back to him. Think long term. Turkey hunting is a chess match, not checkers. You have to think about the long-term impact of your actions. If a bird is roosted in a terrible spot, surrounded by thick brush, you gotta crawl in there, you gotta break limbs, you gotta make all this noise, do not force the issue. Many hunters will try, they'll crawl through, they'll try to make something happen. They end up bumping the bird, he changes roost locations temporarily or permanently, and you educate him. A smart hunter looks at a bad setup and decides to walk away. Go chase another bird or learn where that bird wants to go and meet him there. It is better to leave a bird completely alone and let him feel safe than to push into a bad situation and educate him. Think about the entire season as a whole or what you have left. A bird that feels secured and unpressured today will be much easier to hunt next week or a few days from now. Protect your opportunities by making smart, long-term decisions. Fixing these mistakes will skyrocket your hunting success. And next, we're going to cover what to do at the very end of season. These late season hunting strategies that are going to let you have success and possibly even tag out before the season is up. Subscribe to support our mission of making a positive and an eternal impact through conservation. Trust the process. We'll see you on the next one.